Do you want to come here? You're a bit in the way, boy. There's something magical about a beautiful book. The weight of it, the texture, the way a sprayed edge catches the light when you tilt it just right. And for many of us, books aren't just stories, they're objects of art, memory and comfort. Books used to be simple. You'd walk into a store, buy a paperback, read it, dog ear it, maybe spill some tea on it. Just me? I refuse to believe that's just me. But now books come with sprayed edges, stenciled edges, holographic edges, edges that look like they were kissed by a fairy and a full moon, and we love them. I love them. Do you love them? And if you don't have a copy of one of these fancy books, well, I mean, you're clearly just like a medieval peasant. Today we're diving into the world of book aesthetics, the chaos, the beauty, the meltdown of the publishing industry, and everything in between. Why are sprayed edges now the avocado toast of the publishing world? Let's explore that. P.S. If you hear click-clacking, that's because my dog is restless, and actually I think he's just gone upstairs in a strop because he wasn't allowed to, like, eat my camera. So, yeah. Let's get into it. I'd just like to say a quick thank you to everyone who bought the Bookish Valentine's cards on the shop. It means so much to me. Unlike people who buy cards at supermarkets, just know that every time we get an order, I would jump up and down, and it's so lovely knowing that people wanted our cards. Obviously, they have come and gone now. Valentine's is gone because it's March, but you should check out the store anyway. It's awesome, I swear. Do it. Do it right now. Actually watch this video, then do it. But still, let's get into it. Why we love beautiful books, the emotional and the aesthetic appeal. Let's be honest, we love pretty books. We're here for the reading, and that's great, but if a book has a beautiful gold foil, reversible dust jackets, sprayed edges that look like a sunset with gradients and beautiful sparkles, well, we're all of a sudden like, this is literature, this is culture, this is how I am now, that's it. It is now my new personality. There's a reason special editions feel special. They're tactile, they're thoughtful, the art is stunning, it represents what's in the book, and especially if you adore that book, having a special edition really does feel special. Special editions and beautiful sprayed edges make reading feel like more of an experience. It feels indulgent, and especially when it's done properly and the quality is stunning, you can't help but marvel at how beautiful it is. I think special editions are special because in a world of digital books, it makes us think that physical books are still important. The craft behind the beauty. Sprayed edges aren't new. They go back centuries. Gilded edges in illuminated manuscripts, decorative pigments in Renaissance bindings. Historically, they signal craftsmanship, wealth, and care. And even today, the process is surprisingly technical. Edges have to be perfectly trimmed, tightly bound, and sprayed in thin, even layers. When it's done by an artisan, this craft is meticulous and beautiful and special. There's a reason why they're called special editions. It's a blend of tradition and innovation nowadays, and I think people who really do respect the art and the crafts. Sorry everyone if you hear the roll of like a ball and jingle jangles in the background, because my cat's got zoomies, so that's wonderful. Great timing. This is why high quality editions feel so meaningful, or at least to me. They connect us to the lineage of bookmaking and the values of beauty as much as its content. When it's done right, it's stunning. When it's done wrong, well, we'll get to that. The backlash, where love meets fatigue. Here's where things get complicated. In the last couple of years, sprayed edges have gone from occasional treats to, well, everything. One bookseller said that they counted almost 20 new sprayed edge releases in a single week, and not all of them are good. Some mass market editions chip, fade, and even stain other books during shipping. Another bookseller described unpacking copies that smell like fresh spray paint and arrived already damaged. Another noted that the paint quality on certain exclusive editions have noticeably declined over time. And then there's the bigger issue. If everything is special, then nothing is actually special. The overproduction era. Everything has sprayed edges now. Now they're like glitter. They're everywhere, they're impossible to escape, and they occasionally ruin other belongings. Even children's books are getting sprayed edges, and I feel like that's where you cross the line. I mean, who wants children with their sticky, gross fingers to touch the foiled edges and beautiful special editions of those books? Not me, personally. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a stunning edition of Beatrice Potter's Squirrel Nutkin, but you know, she is long gone, and it's a special edition because it was an anniversary of that book series being published. That's what makes it special. It's an anniversary. There should be a reason for special editions. They shouldn't just come out just because then why is it special? Just because of the art, just because of the process. That's what it seems to be lately. Why people don't like sprayed edges or special editions. Okay, let's talk about the haters, because they may have some points and some trauma. Not everyone is swooning over a sprayed edge. In fact, some peepers resent it now. They hate them. They purposefully don't want sprayed edges and they avoid them. They scoff. And many of their reasons fit into three main categories, so let's go through them. The quality control nightmare. You know how a good sprayed edge looks like a work of art? A bad sprayed edge looks like your book has been attacked with some Poundland car paint, so yeah, been there. The quality of sprayed edges are getting worse because it's getting more popular. It means they have to pump out more special editions, more sprayed edges that are no longer special. Of course, the quality can go down when less time is taken, and shortcuts are often taken as well. Many booksellers have said that new editions of certain books that they've had is noticeably cheaper looking and less special than an edition they remember from a few years back. The false value problem. Sprayed edges used to mean something. They were rare, fancy, a treat. Now publishers slap a solid coloured edge on a book and call it a deluxe edition for an extra £3 to £6, even when nothing inside has changed. A reader said that it feels like a cheap money grab, and honestly, when a book has sprayed edges but no bonus content, no upgraded paper, no author notes, it's giving marketing and not magic. No craftsmanship. Just a money grab, as lots of other people have said. If everything is special, nothing is special. And I'll probably say that multiple times throughout the rest of the video again. Because, I mean, surely everyone agrees that. Everyone has to agree with that. There are footage on TikTok everywhere. You walk in and there's sprayed edges everywhere. I mean, I'm running clips throughout this that show the sprayed edges that I have myself, and they're beautiful. I subscribed to Fairy Loot. And yes, that's past tense because I had to cancel my subscription at Christmas. Ugh, the economy sucks and I'm still heartbroken, but it's for the best. It really is for the best. I love the sprayed edges, but yeah, I don't need them, and I miss Fairy Loot, and I used to have a Lumacrate too. That is where my editions come from. I love them, but it was time. I need to save my money. The collector burnout is real. Some people don't hate sprayed edges. They hate what sprayed edges do to them emotionally. The scarcity, the pre-orders, the scalpers, the you must be online at this time to get this or else you'll miss out on it forever. The FOMO is real, and honestly, I get FOMO so bad most of the time that I get it. I totally get it. I am one of those people. The culture around special editions nowadays is stressful, and There's special editions everywhere. We can't have them all. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I was a millionaire, you better believe I would have a house dedicated to just books. I don't just want a library. I want a house of books. Hello, little girl. People are getting tired of buying books every 2 weeks for a series just so they have the matching set. And I can understand that because I hate it when books don't match. I really do. If they're in a series, I want them to be the same. And especially if there are more books to come out of a series, you know, the series isn't yet finished, you want to stick to that edition. You want the matching covers. It is about the aesthetic sometimes. I want my bookshelf to look pretty. I also really need to organise my bookshelf, but I still want my bookshelf to look pretty. And I have a lot of series. As a fantasy reader, lots of fantasy books are in a series because the world building is just so heavy in some of them, especially high fantasies. So having series on my bookshelf, I do want them to match, and I think a lot of people agree. Looking in bookshops, when there's a series, you know, they're not just completely random covers. And so if somebody wants to get a special edition of a certain book, well, they're going to need to do it for the rest of the series, of course. What's the point of getting a special edition if the rest of the series doesn't match? Personally, as an example, one of the books I've read, The Scorpion and the Night Blossom, that was a book that I got in a Fairy Loot subscription, and the second book is coming out and I pre-ordered it, and I obviously had to pre-order the hardback special edition of that version. I'm not entirely sure, I don't think it is Fairy Loot, but it does still match the edition I have from Fairy Loot. It's still beautiful. And if I hadn't got this first edition and I'd just got the normal book, I would have spent like way less money on just the other paperback. But because I have the first book of that series, well, I have to get the next book to match, and I think other people definitely would agree with me with that. It's a very common thing, and publishers know this. They put out editions and they want people to have all of those editions for the whole rest of the series. Then there's the chaos of multiple copies with multiple different chapters, like bonus chapters. And I think I heard somebody said people are buying like 5 copies of the same book because they have little bonus chapters in it, and that's kind of crazy. Like it's definitely mildly unhinged. Maybe not mildly, it's pretty damn unhinged, but I mean, you know, people have their own money and that's what they want to do, and that is why publishers are cashing in that. People are buying them, so why would they stop? The practical people just don't care. Some readers simply want a book, a normal book. No bells and whistles. They want to read the story and they don't particularly mind what they look like. People want an ordinary book, a book that doesn't chip or fade, one that's readable, one that doesn't feel like a fragile special edition that can have no creases in. Some people like dog-earing their page, some people don't like using a bookmark, and therefore why would they want a special edition that's supposed to be special, so you don't want to tarnish it in any way? People also, you know, annotate in pens and they read in the bath, sprayed edges, special editions. They're like, why would I pay extra for something I'm going to destroy accidentally within 48 hours? And honestly, respect. I get that. I'm very clumsy. There's you know, there's been many a time where my book has gone flying across the room accidentally. Or not so accidentally if I'm angry, I will admit that. Collector culture, a love story, and a horror story. Collectors are living in a paradox. We love beautiful editions, we want matching sets, we want the fancy edges, but we also want to stop taking out a small loan every time a new release drops. The stress of collecting is real, and the scalpers are even worse. People have literally made a living on making sure they get these special editions.
Someone would pay £2,000 for a special edition book. Does it come with a dragon? Does it summon Rysand to read it to you personally? Is it secretly written by the ghost of Jane Austen? No. Then stop. Listen, I love sprayed edges. I love the design. I love the aesthetic. But nothing about this price is normal. Paper. It's beautiful paper, but it's paper. Some will say it's an investment. The only investment I'm going to be making is into therapy after seeing that number. Talk about how this turns reading into the Hunger Games. May the odds be ever in your financially stable favour.
Publishers use scarcity marketing. They release special editions. They talk about how there's only this many left, and people want it. People want to feel special. They want to have this edition. So when scalpers come along, make sure they get this edition, and then they don't actually care about it. They'll sell it on, and they'll sell it at a massive profit. And if there's a collector out there with enough money and serious FOMO, well, they're going to make money. These scalpers make money, just like they do when they buy season tickets to a sport, which I actually know nothing about because sport, gross. Anytime scarcity marketing is involved with anything, and if it's super popular, there are scalpers. They are going to try and get those books just to sell them on. They do not care. They are taking advantage of other collectors, of the people with FOMO, so they can make money. And I mean, I don't know who to blame. Obviously, the scalpers are not great, that they're obviously doing it on purpose, but it's also the publishing houses. When I say about the quality and the quantity of things earlier, they could make more. They could, like, realistically, they could make more, even if they have to do it in batches, and some do, and that's extra annoying when somebody has gone to the effort and they've worried about not getting a hold of this special edition book, that there's only this many copies. You want them to be special. If you spent this extra money on it, then you want that. And then a few months later, maybe even a few years later, you'll see a big marketing post saying, this book that we released a few years ago, yeah, well, guess what? It's available again, and there's way more copies. So now you just feel jaded. You feel taken advantage of. You know, it's usually cheaper as well, and yeah, it's frustrating to have that. I have definitely seen, I think I saw Fairyly do it as well. They eventually release a box set of a series, so they would create a special edition of a debut, then they wait until the rest of that author's books are released, and then they usually work with them again to create a cohesive design for the whole series. And it's often bought down in price because people can buy them as a set in bulk. So that book that you bought a few years ago that's supposed to feel special to you and that isn't available anymore suddenly is. And that can be frustrating for a lot of people, and I can understand why. I've not experienced that yet. Then again, maybe I will, and I will be annoyed. I can understand, and I will definitely be frustrated when that time probably comes, because yeah, I've got some serious special editions. Matching covers, reprints, and the issue to keep up. The aesthetic trap. Like I briefly mentioned, the other trend that is shaping book aesthetics now is the rise of matching sets and the constant reprints. New covers, new sprayed edges, new exclusive editions, sometimes for books that only came out a few years ago. Personally, I have always considered a special edition as a really popular book with a cult following, perhaps. Think Harry Potter, Twilight even. I've seen many editions of that. As time goes on and a group really adores this book, then special editions can come out on different anniversaries, and I think that is a great way of doing it. That's what should make them feel special, that there's a certain milestone perhaps, but nowadays there are giveaways for a debut novel that are popular. Like, people love the book, and I totally understand that, but these giveaways for special sprayed editions that, you know, are just randomly coming out to drum up more marketing, to keep sales going, driven forward, Yeah, I just think that shouldn't be why a special edition is designed. Readers love cohesive shelves, and once you buy one book with sprayed edges, you feel compelled to buy the whole series, as I've just spoke about before. And publishers reissue earlier books to match newer ones, and it creates a cycle that's hard and very expensive to keep up with. It's beautiful, but it's also a lot. So, is this good or bad? A balanced reflection. So here's the truth. Pretty books aren't inherently good or bad. They're just powerful. They can elevate a story. They can celebrate an author. They can make reading feel magical. They can make your bookcase look stunning. And if it's a point of pride for you and reading is your favourite hobby and people see it, bookshelves are furnitures. They can be a main focal point of a room. Of course you want it to look beautiful. So I can understand that. And especially when you want to celebrate a very specific book, I can understand why that is something that people want to do. But they can also become overwhelming when overused, rushed, or marketed in ways that prey on FOMO rather than joy. The key is balance. You can celebrate artistry without feeling that pressure to chase every new edition. Personally, beautiful books bring me joy. Unfortunately, I don't have the space or money to truly collect special editions on a regular basis. I was very lucky to be able to get certain Fairy Loot books. Some of them I did get secondhand, which was awesome. I got a big bundle from a lovely lady who was moving from the UK to Australia, so she had to say goodbye to an awful lot of her books, and she said to me that she's so happy it's going to someone who loves books as much as she did. And yeah, I was very happy to take that off her hands. And then the rest of the books, like I said, I did get a book subscription box, very briefly for Illumicrate, and then for Fairy Loot, which I have just had to stop. But it means a whole row of my bookshelf does have sprayed edges. So the solution probably isn't to stop making pretty books. It's to make them well, make them meaningful, and maybe, just maybe, stop releasing 17 editions of the same book in 1 year. At the end of the day, books are made to be loved. Whether they're plain paperbacks or gilded masterpieces, it's about what's inside the book. A beautiful edition can make a story feel even more special. So tell me, how do you feel about sprayed edges and matching covers and special editions? Are they a delight, or are you tired of seeing so much of them? Let's talk in the comments. It'll be fun to see what people think about this. And yeah, in my opinion, like I say, balanced view. I think that there are too many of them. But then again, I definitely pick up books with sprayed edges in shops and definitely give them more than a once over in comparison to other books. I think in the UK, I don't know about the US, but in the UK we have The Works. I don't think that's a shop in the US or anywhere else. But The Works have really cheap books, and a lot of them are getting sprayed edges. A lot of them are just solid colours, which I really do see as pointless. It's not really a design, it's just a block colour, what's the point? But yeah, they have a lot, and they're really cheap. They're not really special, but if I do like one, I think I have Andy Darcy Theo's second book of his series of The Light That Blinds Us. I happened to get it from The Works, and it has like a flamed edge. Let's see if I can get it. It's here somewhere. Yes. Here is the second book of the series, and I got it from The Works, and it has this flamed edge. I have no strong opinions on it. I mean, it's fine. It just happens that this was the only copy that was available, and it's frustrating that like the top or bottom doesn't have any on it. And like I said, it's the same size and matches the other book. It just has this random pattern on it, and I don't really see the point of that. But yeah, I don't know, just some flames. I don't see the point, but I really did want the book at that time, and it was the only copy, so what are you gonna do? I don't know, that's just I don't know. Anyway, I think it'd be really fun to see what other people think. And again, if people want to look at our shop, see what bookish items are on there, we have some good stuff. I swear, some really good stuff. You should look. Have a look. Look. I'm telling you to look. Anyway, here are social medias. Please follow me over there. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.